So guys, as we have yesterday, we have done a lot of things and functions in previous session. So there are some presentations also that you could be clear with. See, this is how the function definition is. Whenever we call the function, this is the calling function and this is the function definition. And when we call it, this program just gets executed right over here. You can see. So this is how this works, and you might have got everything correctly. This is a greeting function, and there is a name that is passed through, and we are just having it. So I believe function is clear to you, so we may skip all this. And today what we're going to do, we're going to understand something this, that I told you the variable inside a function is totally different from the variable outside the function. This is what in function, there is a little bit different concept of global and local variables. So today we're gonna do that. So first of all, we'll create a file right over here, and it's state4. And first of all, first concept that we're gonna learn today is global and local variables. Okay, so if you have a variable x right over here, x equals to 10, maybe the value is. So you have a variable right over here x, and then you use that variable somewhere over here. Maybe you use a for printf statement, print x. Okay, you use it for this. Okay, this is done. But now if you want to use this for a function, for example, you're calling a function sum, and you're defining that function right over here. Sum equals def sum, and inside that we'll just print get a value x equals to, okay, not x, let it be a equals to 12, and we're going to print it, print a. So let us also write the name a equals to, and this is x equals to, okay, so this is great. You can see over here we have a variable x over here, and we are just printing that variable right over here. And in a function, we have called that function over here. So the output of this function, this print statement, will be after this x statement right over here. Okay, and it is printing a equals to a. So now let me just execute this code, and while I'm writing this code, I will just let you know. So you can see we are getting x equals to 10 and a equals to 12. Okay, now we are just making this x a equals to x. We are just replacing this a with x, and we are just to replace this to x. Now we are not writing this variable a over here because we want that to know it inside the sum, or you can say it as sum, so that we don't get confused. Now sum inside the sum function will get this sum equals to x value, okay, and outside this x equals to 10. So this is what outside, and this is what inside the function, but the variable names are same. You can see over here also x, over here also x. So when we will execute this, you can see this value of x equals to 10 is same, x equals to 10, but over here we are changing the value x equals to 12. Now if you may have doubt that this function sum has been printed before this print statement, so I'm just printing this sum statement before this, so that if you find that if the value has been changed over here, then it should change the value of this function also. Okay, so I will just execute this code, but you can see that x remains 10, means this value remains 10, and but the sum of this value x is 12, as we are printing 12 over here. So over here, what is the concept, that every value is a local value, means over here x is local to this entire part, this entire thing, okay, but it is not accessible over here directly in the function. in any if block, else block in the function and reference blocks. It is not accessible directly right over here. So whatever, if the name of the variable remains the same outside the block and inside the block, then it doesn't matter, because if you write inside the block, then it is a local variable only. It is not a global variable like this. Now, how to access this x equals to x value right over here, and we're gonna print change that value, and when we change it, then this value will also get changed, because as we're changing it before printing the original value. So if we will make any change over here, then it should change over here if we are using this as a global value over here. So in normal C++ Java, if you could have directly called a global variable right over here, then it is directly accessible to it. But over here, to access the global value, you need to write global x. This means that you want to access the global x value, and the global x value is 10. You're going to access that global variable, and then you are making changes to that global variable, and now whatever change is there, it is globally changed, and now this print will also give 12, and this sum will also give 12. So let us execute this. I believe we haven't saved the code, so let me save the code once. Okay, the code is saved, and now we'll execute this, and you can see we are getting x equals 12 and sum equals to 12, because now we have used this global, and we are using this variable x globally. So what happens now, whatever changes we make to this x is acted globally. So this 10 over here doesn't exist anymore, and the x value has been replaced with 12. So did you understood this concept? Because this concept is very, very important when you go for projects. Just let me know in the comment section. If you want me to explain again, you just write it so that I could explain you again what is this. Okay. So I will just explain it again. Just see to it. We have a function sum over here, and this function works is to just print it. So if you are not having this global value over here, you are not. This is a global variable. Okay. Let me put it somewhere over here. Now x is a global variable. Okay. And over here, x is a local variable to sum. Now these two variables are totally different, as in Python we don't have access to the global variables in a function directly. Okay, so if we make any changes to x over here, it doesn't make any changes to x right over here. This is because over here we don't have direct access to the global variables. This is a global variable. Let me comment it. Global variable, and this is a local variable. Okay, so this is good now. So it doesn't have any access to this now. Now when we execute this code, you will find x is remains 10, but this value, some value, is 12. Over here we have changed the value of x, or else you can write x sum function. So it denotes that x used in some function, okay, x used in some function is 12, but x used in global variable is 10. You can see over here. Now if we make this value as global, now this is a let me copy this and comment this, and now what we are doing, we will make this x as global. Okay, global x. Now what happens if we are making this x as global? Now what happens if this x has the global access, means it is directly accessing this variable x right over here. So if you make any changes now in this function sum, then it will directly make changes in the global x. Now if we just print, so let us print before sum also. let us print the statement before sum also. So we can write over here sum before sum global x, and we can copy this and paste it over here, and we'll just make it to after sum global x. Okay, now let us execute this code. The program is taking its time to save, and now we'll execute it. So you can see before sum global x value was 10, but when we call the sum function, as sum is using the x globally, so now the global value has been changed to 12, and now after sum global x becomes 12. So whenever you use x after sum, it will be giving you value as 12. So did you understood now what is global and local variables in Python? Just let me know in the comment section. Yes, very good, guys. So now we'll go for the next topic. And this topic is something related to our next project too, because today we're going to do a project, and that is what we're going to make a game of jumbled words. So before going to the project, we'll go for the random function. And what is this random library all about in Python? We'll go for this. So it's random library or random module, you can say. So to use this random module, we need to import it first. So we'll just import random. So directly by default, Python has the installation of random, and we're just importing random over here. Now, after we import random, what we're going to do, we're going to know the functions. So the first function that we're going to know is directly random. We're going to run as the random function. Now, the existence and the usage of this random module is very much when we use to create certain games, because in all the games you can see the possibility is random. Means if you also play that game, if the questions are coming randomly, if the other person also played, it comes in random way. So the questions should not match at every instance. So this is what random function does. So now we're going to have the random function. So how to use it? We're gonna use it something like this: random dot random, and inside this we're gonna write it. We're gonna store it somewhere. Let it be a, and we're gonna just print it. Print a. Let us execute this code. Let me comment the previous one first. Okay, we have commented this, and we'll save this, and now we're gonna execute this. Random is not defined. Okay. I believe I have commented some part. Okay, I commented random over here. So let me not take it over here. Let me include random right over here. Import random, so that it doesn't make any complications. Now let us execute this, and you will find that we are getting a value. Okay. Now every time you will use it, you will get different value. This value was different than this value. Now again, if you want to execute, you can execute. You will find different value. Now, what does this random function does? What does this random function does? This random function allows us to get a float value in between 0.0 to 1.0. Means from in between 0 to 1, it will let you give n number of float values. Every time you will execute, you will get a different value every time we will get a different value, and this is what random is all about. It will be giving you the values from 0.0 to 1.0. Okay, so now you can also make this also some changes, like you have written import random, and if you provide as, this is a keyword where you want to change the big name into small name. For example, you want to change it to R. Now if you want to use this random, so you can directly use r dot random, and it will give you the same output. See, okay, the file is saving still now, so let the file get saved. Okay, the file got saved, and now we'll just execute it. So you can see we are still getting the outputs, we are still getting the values. So this is how you can shorten the big names. If you want to shorten, like import random, and your random is imported as r. Now whenever you want to use the random, you can use as r. Okay, this is how it is shortened. Now this was the first function. Now we'll go for the second function. Let me comment this. And the second function is rand range. So you can see this is the rand range function, and now we'll just use this function. Let it be a equals to r dot rand range, and inside this we're gonna have the starting value. So let me start with a number 1 and end it with 8. The system is taking its time. Yeah, right. So here we can see rand range. What does it does? It will give you a choice, a number, not a choice, a number between the range. But 8 means the last value, that is 8. 8 not included. That means if you write 1 comma 8, that means it will give you numbers starting from 1 and ending till 7. So you will get a numbers starting from 1 and ending till 7. Okay, rand range gives this. So let us print this. Print a, and let us see what is there. Okay, the program is taking its time to save down. So let us wait a little minute. Okay, that is done. So you can see we are getting 3 right now, and when we execute this again, we are again getting 3. This time we got 7. So you can see we will get 1 also, but we won't get 9 anytime. Sorry, 8 anytime. And more than 8, it is not possible, as it is not in the range. So if you continuously do this, you can see we are getting different numbers. See, we have got 1, but till now we haven't got 8. So let us continue again and again to check it out if we are getting this, but you will find that we are not getting this. So this is what random range is all about. Now, if you want to include this 8, so there is another function called rand int. There is another function rand int. Now, what this function does, does the same thing that a range does, but it will include both the numbers, the starting and the ending position. Okay, give a number between the range. Okay, it has the same thing and includes both. Now, what is there? We will just write it down. A equals to r dot rand int, and inside that we'll just pass on 2 numbers. Let's be 1 comma 15. 15. Okay, let us check first 1 comma 3, so that we have less numbers, and we will get both the values 1 and 3 also. So let us print it. Print a and we're gonna just save this and execute this. So you will be getting one you have got. Now you got 3 also. Okay, but if you put rand range over here, I'm just showing an example of rand range also so that you can be very clear with this. There's a spelling mistake. Yeah. Now I will just let the program get saved. Yeah, we got it. So now we'll just execute this once again. So you will see we are getting 1, we are getting 2, but we are not getting 3. We are not getting 3. So in rand end, we include both the parts. We include 1 also and 3 also. But in rand range, we always include a number less than the last number. So now you will get 3 in rand end. So this is what rand int was, and we're going to use these very much when we will be just doing our projects. Now after this, we're going to have a function called choice. Now what does this choice does actually? It gives you a choice, means to choose a word out of many words. This is what the choice function does. Over here, if you want to play with the numbers, you want to use this rand range and rand end and random. But if you want to play with words, then you have certain like choice, then we have sample. So these are what we have it when we're going to play with the choice. Okay. So we'll just what we're going to do, we're going to just print it like we're going to take a list, and inside that list we will have certain words like apple, then we can have banana, then we can have coconut, then we can have mango, guava. Okay, that's it. Many other. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna just choose any of the value randomly. So for that, we will have a variable, let it be a, and we're gonna write r dot choice because we have stored a random as r. Now choice, and inside that we'll pass on the list, and the list is L. That's it. If we are doing this and printing a, then we'll get a choice out of this. So let us see. So first of all, we got apple, then apple again, then banana, then apple again, then coconut, apple again, mango, guava, coconut. You can see we are getting randomly. Any number we are getting randomly. There is no sequence of the number. You can see. So this is how we are getting a choice. Now, if you want to have the choice as a list, since you want to have take a 2 to 3 numbers in a list, then what you're going to do, you're going to have the sample with us. So over there, we're going to choose this. Rather, we're going to go for sample function. Now for sample, we're going to have like this. Let me copy this so that we don't waste our time writing this again and again. Okay, we had copied this, and now what we're going to do, a equals to r dot sample, and inside that we'll pass on the list. But we want a sample, so sample of how many numbers, how many random choices do we want? We will decide it through k. You can see over here k unique random elements from a population sequence or set. That means how many unique random elements do you want every time. So I will just give you the k value, I will give you 2. That means I'm telling that every time we want 2 unique values from the upper set into our new list. And if you print it, it will give you a list again. So let us see just. See, first of all, we got guava and apple. And in the second time, we got guava mango, banana mango, mango banana, apple banana. So you can see over here, we are getting just miscellaneous numbers, miscellaneous position being attached, and it is giving in a list. So this is what few random examples that we have over here. So are you clear with this? Just let me know in the comment section. Yes, okay. So I got the reply. Okay, Amit. Rand range again. Okay, random range. We have the rand range right over here. See, in rand range, we have the numbers. We're gonna play with the numbers only. We have a starting position and an ending position, and the numbers will be in between them. But in rand range, we don't include 8. If you wanna include 8, then you need to give it to 9. Then only 8 will be included. Means it doesn't consider the last position. It always have the position before it. Means 1 to 8, it will be giving numbers between 1 to 7. Okay, so let me execute this and let me tell you. It's giving 6, it's giving 6, it's giving 5, it's giving 2, it's giving 6, 1. Over here we started with 1, we are getting 1, but still now we didn't get 8. This is because it will not consider 8. We'll get 7 sometimes, but we will not get 8. You can see I'm just putting it. If I'm getting 7, I will just let you know. Yeah, I got 7. See, we are getting 7, but we are not getting 8. So did you understood, Swati? Yes, very good. So now we'll go for our first game that we'll make today, and the game is jumbled words. Now this is a very common and exciting game. In this game, what concepts do we require? We will use the control structures, usage, control structure, and then we're gonna use usage control structure, and then we're gonna use the random function, random module, and then we're gonna use you can say functions. A lot of functions we're gonna use over here, and nothing else, I believe. These are the main things that we're gonna use. So you can see whatever we have learned, we are using everything, most of it into this. So this is hard. And sequences, yes, sequences. So the sequences consist of dictionary, list, string, everything. Everything comes under sequences. So we're gonna use the sequences. So now what is this game all about? What we're gonna do, just let me tell you first. Because completing this game, I don't think so we could complete it. So we'll do all this setup part maybe today. Let's see how much we can proceed with the game. So first of all, what we require, we need to do this setup, understand the game. So we will have two players over here. Two players. The players, player 1, or else you can say P1, whatever variable we're going to use, and P2. There are two players. Now two players will have their own points. So 2 point counting variables, and those variables will be maybe point of player 1 and point of player 2. Okay, now player 1, player 2 are created, player 1 point and player 2 points are created. Now we may have the turn. Means we're gonna have something like this, that first it is a player 1's turn, then we have player 2 turn. So these are the turn. So we'll have uh, turn shifting counter, a turn shifting variable, let it be, and this variable, let us name it as turn. Now what this game is all about? So game will be all about like there is a word, for example, apple. Okay. Now this word, it is the original word, but in the game it will be showing to the players as something like LEPAP. Did I made everything? Yeah. So it is something showing like this. Now they need to find out what is this word actually resembles, and if they write the correct word like apple, then the player who's written the exact correct word will get a bonus point 1, and the player who haven't written the exact correct word will get no marks. So this is what the entire game is all about. Now we're gonna make this game repeatedly. So this is what. Did you understood the game? Just let me know in the comment section. Okay. So we may continue with this. Now I will just omit this. Now we have done till the turn. Now player setup has been done. Now next what we want the code setup. Now for the code setup, this is let me name it as player setup. Now we will have the code setup. See, these all things are very, very important to write it down when you're doing the codes so that you could remember the codes actually because remembering each and every variable and what is it is used for is very, very difficult after a few years or after a few months. Okay, if you're not working on the same project. Now for code setup, we're gonna have some random word. So first of all, first thing that we're gonna have random word. Second thing that we're gonna have a jumbled word, jumble the random word. So we can write that jumbling the random word. So this is what we have done. We have jumbled the random word now. And now what we're gonna have, we're gonna do nothing. We're gonna checking system that if the word that is entered by the player is same as the random word that we choose, the original random word. So we will need a checking system. So now for this random word, we'll make a function. Let this function be ran word. Let me write it in camel case, ran word. Okay. So this is a function used for random word. Now we may use a jumble word function. Let it be jump word. We are using these two functions. One is this is jump. Yeah. So one is ran word, one is jump word for jumbling it. And if you want to make a checking system function, then it's also good if you want to check it, or else you can just use it. So let us make a checking system function. So check word. Let it be check word. Now we have done this. So setup of the code and player is already. So now we create the functions first. So let us create a function def ran word. This is a function where we will write all the things that we require for the choosing a random word. We'll just give a normal print statement and close it so that it doesn't throw any error. Now we have another function that is jump word. Step by step, we'll create each and every function and we'll just print it directly so that we don't get any error. While writing the codes, we'll just remove that print statement because we don't require it. Now we want a check word function. So def check word. Okay, let me write these all things in a camel case. So this is the check word function, and we'll just have the print over here. Now we created three functions, and now we can have a play function. So let us all do everything in a function. So player setup, the main function, let us make the main function as play function. Main function, and that will be the play function. So whenever we call the play function, every function, why we use camel case words? It is easy to understand. Now, if I write like this, for example, my company provides courses. Now, are you able to understand this at an instance? Is it possible for anyone to understand this at an instance? Just let me know. It's very difficult. It becomes very difficult if you write something like this, because over here in any languages we use the entire things. So for that we use camel case. Now if you write something like this, I believe it will be more readable to you at an instance. Now you tell me, which is a better one, the camel case way of writing or the normal way of writing? So with this example, I hope you will be getting it, why we use camel case, because it has two very important things, that it helps us also to understand very well what it does, and it helps us to write a longer words and we will not get confused also. So this is why we use camel case always. Now we have created a play function, that is the main function, and now we'll create that play function def play, and inside that we will have everything. Our entire code will be, main code will be inside play function. Okay, so in play function, what else we want? We want to create two players, p1 and p2. So let us create two players. P1 equals to, I want to input the name. Okay, so we'll just input enter player one, player one name. So this is what the P1 name is. And now we're in P2. We'll just enter input, enter player 2 name. So, okay, we got over here player 1 name and we got over here player 2 name. So we have taken both the names and we have stored in P1 and P2. This is done. Now the next step is to two points counting system, pp1 and pp2. So both the points will start from 0. So we can have pp1 equals to 0 and pp2 equals to 0. So point counting system is done. Now we're gonna have the turn shifting variable, turn. For turn shifting variable, let us have two values, one is 0 and 1. So let us take 0 initially. So 0 resembles the turn of first player and 1 will resemble the turn of second player. We can write it down over here. 0 means player 1 turn, and then 1 means player 2 turn. So this is done. Now we have done the player 1's turn and player 2 turn. So all the code setup is ready, all the functions are ready, and now we can code it. So for coding it, what we require, the first thing, we want a random word. We want to have a random word. So over here, we're going to call the function random word right over here. So we're going to call, first thing that we're going to do is random word, and whatever word it sends, whatever word it returns back, we're going to store it somewhere like a word. We're going to create a variable word and we're going to store random word. Now random word is not defined. We need to use the camel case over here. Now this is done. So we have called the random function and now we have stored it in word. So it will over here, we know what we need to do. Let me remove the print. And now over here we'll have some list. Let the list be L, and inside that, or else it is better to have a proper list. Let it be words, and inside that words, we will have all the name like rain, forest, then we may have parliament, a little difficult words. Then we have a railway, then we have cartoon, then we may have creature. So there is a lot of words. So how many words you want to give? It may be 50, it may be 100, it may be 200. So that it is never that the words again and again, it should come back again, and we may have a lot of choice into it. So what you're going to do over here, you're going to create a random dot choice. We're going to choose a word from it. Now over here we are not using random, we are using R. So we'll use R dot choice, and inside this plus the list that is words. We have done this. Now whatever choice it chooses, we need to store somewhere, right? So let us take a variable C and we'll store everything in C. Now it is asking for us to return something because it is waiting for a value to be returned and stored in the word. So we will just return the value C over here. Return C. And we have returned the word C, and now that word is stored in word, and now we'll check our code till over here. If everything is working fine. Print word. We'll check our code first, that is everything working right. And to check this player 1, player 2, you can write it down, print player 1 not player 1, you can write print welcome, and you're going to write something like this as welcome Amar or welcome Teckat. So for this, what we're going to do, welcome space, and then after the space with a plus sign, we can write P1, or you can write welcome comma P1, anything what you want. Okay, now we're going to copy this and paste this, and we're going to write P2. So we are just welcoming both the players, welcoming P1 and welcoming P2, and we are just printing the word, the random word. So let us execute this code. Okay. Okay, sorry. We never called this play function. So first of all, we need to call this main function so that it is executable. Now we so first of all, we have called this, and now everything will get related accordingly. Okay. So we'll just execute this code now, and it's asking for the name. So let us give the name Pritam, and second be the name like Amar. So you will find that we are welcoming, welcome Pritam, welcome Amar, and now the first word we got is cartoon. Now if you want to only check the words, means the functions are working properly, because if you want to check it continuously in this method, then what happens, every time you will be asked for a name. For example, again you will be asked a name, and you need to print the name again. Again you need to write everything, and then you need to check it. So it's very difficult. So for checking a function, what we do, we just don't execute this. Rather, we directly execute a function, ran word, and every time we execute this, ran word, and word equals, because it will return something, so we'll just store somewhere like w equals to ran word, and we're going to print ran word. So it's only for checking method. It's only for checking that our function is working properly. Okay, now we'll just execute this, let the program get saved, and now it's saved. See, you got railway, now you got cartoon, you got creature, you got parliament, you got n number of months. Every time you're getting some different members. You can see to it. So this is what our function is working great. It's giving the choice of words properly. So we'll just eliminate this and we'll just decomment this. Yeah. And we'll just eliminate this word because we don't want to print this word in our game. Now, our next step is to use the jumble word. Now, what we're going to do over here, we're going to jumble the word. So for jumbling the word, what we're going to do, we're going to pass on this word to this function. And there only we will jumble it. Now, how to do this? We're going to do jump word, and inside this function, we're going to pass on word. Okay, we passed word over here. So over here, we need to input somewhere. Let it be W. Let the variable be W. You can keep it word also, no issue. Let me remove this print one. And now over here, what we require actually, we require each and every sample first. So for that, we require r.sample because we require entire sample of the words. So r.sample, and inside the sample will pass on the word that is in W, and then a comma, and then we're gonna pass the means how many times a set should be created. Are you getting this? So every time it will be created in a list. Now we want to have in a normal set len of W. That means if W has 5 characters, then we want in that list all 5 characters. So if you're going to print this, for example, you want to store this W equals L equals 2, and if you want to print this, then you will find something interesting. Print L. So let us call this function right over here. The function is jump word. We'll just eliminate this, and we'll call this function jump word for testing purpose. And what we're going to do, we're going to pass on a word because it is asking for a word. So we'll just pass camel into it. We are just passing a word camel into this jump word function, and over here what it will do, it will just create a list with a jumbled characters. Okay, so let us execute this now. Let us execute this now, and you can see we are getting a jumbled characters. You can see the camel has got the jumbled characters. So our first step has been done, that we are jumbling the words. Now we need to create a word out of these characters. Okay, so what we can do, it is giving a character each time. So when it is giving a character each time, we have a functionality called join. Okay, so if we do something like with a with a string, we're gonna join whatever character it does give. Every time a character that it gives, we're gonna join it with this blank string. Then every time it will create a word and it will store it in L. So let us execute this now. Let us execute this now. Okay, let it program get saved, and now we'll execute it. We are getting a word. Now we are getting a word. You can see. So this is how we're gonna make this. So the jumble word, what it does, first of all, the sample creates as many samples that we want in a list, and each and every character is then joined to a blank string. So first of all, for example, A is joined, then A comes over here. Now the string consists of A, next time C comes maybe, next time L comes maybe. So it is joining it. So now our word is prepared, and now we'll return this word. We're gonna remove this and return this word. If you are returning this word, then we want to store it somewhere over here. So let it be that we can store it like jumbled. Let the variable be jumbled. So for storing the jumbled word, and now we will get this word over here, and we can print it as we have tested it. So we're gonna eliminate this, and this is what. So we got all the things ready, and now what we require is we require to print this jumbled word, because this is only been seen by the user, by the player. So we're gonna print jumbled. That's it. So let us execute the code till now and let us see what it is showing. Okay, we haven't called play, so let us call execute the play, and now we'll execute this, and it's asking player one, so let it be freedom, and second player it's armor, and it's asking for us C. But after this, it is getting ending. It's ending the project. So what we're gonna do over here, after this, we're gonna play it in a while loop. So where we require the while loop? This entire part we require every time. So over here, we will pass on this part in a while loop where while, let it be, we can say end loop. Okay, while one. So it's an infinite loop. It won't end until we say it to end. Now every time it will create something and it will end it. So we will just execute this. Pritam, Amar, and you can see it's giving the data infinite times. It's not ending. Okay. So this is what infinite loop is, and every time we're gonna control this loop very smoothly and very efficiently. But if we're gonna control this today, then it won't end in between. So I will just end this project till now. If you have any doubt till here, just let me know in the comment section. If you have any doubt till here, just let me know in the comment section. If you don't have, you can write it your comments or the feedbacks of the program. Okay, no doubts. Great, guys. So I believe we will just end this session today because you have no doubts. Tomorrow we'll continue with this thing, and tomorrow is the day of explanation of your project, where what you need to do in your Saturday, Sundays, and this will not be what you got to learn in these days. It is similar to that, but it is all everything will be on research, and it will be very difficult. Let me tell you. So it's not that we won't complete it. We will complete it on Mondays. We'll discuss it. But yeah, it will be very difficult for you if you want to research that. So tomorrow we will have the project discussion and we'll complete this entire thing. Okay, that's it, guys. So for today, we'll end the session right over here. Thank you.